There we go.
Welcome to the Lazaro Lab. I'm Brad Lazaro.
And I'm Matt Lazaro, and today we have a Q&A podcast.
Brought to you by Legendary Foods.
And BioSteel.
Protein Pop-Tarts, 20 grams of protein, 180 calories.
Yeah,
Get them at Lazaro Nutrition.
Pretty good, guys. Come in this week. You get them for the full price. Anyways, so we have a Q&A. I put up a little questionnaire on Instagram. If you ever want your questions answered, make sure you submit them via the Instagram when we do those Q&A deals. We got a bunch of questions, but I'm not going to answer all of them. We get quite a bit of questions in general on a day-to-day basis, but the funny thing is they get really detailed when I put these questionnaires up.
Oh, they're sending you paragraphs?
Not quite paragraphs, but well, you'll see. We'll get to it. Like first things first. This person says, I don't like lifting heavy. I usually use 65 pounds or so on the barbell because if I use any more, I get instantly bulky and muscular. What do you think is my problem?
What movement is this?
It's lacking a little context, but I'm assuming it's barbell stuff. 65 pounds is not a lot of weight, number one.
I mean, they could scan and train heavier for a month. And
No. What they're saying is they don't want to be bulky. They don't like to lift heavy because they think.
So do they have actual proof that they are bulky?
No. So that's the thing. So these are a lot of these things tend to be very much not rooted.
I mean, they could feel like their muscles are more engaged and
fuller,
stimulated. Yeah.
But I have a feeling I know what's going on. I have a feeling, like most, and it's a very notorious thing that goes around CrossFit gyms, is that women think they're going to look like games athletes all of a sudden if they lift more weight. I wish it was that easy.
Yeah, half the men don't even look like that.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I mean, overall, lifting heavy does not get you bulky, nor will it get you excessively muscular.
Yeah,
in a short period of time, especially. Like maybe if you dedicated a good 10 to 15 years of weight training,
yeah,
it's possible.
Yeah,
and you have to have decent genetics.
Are they speaking of being a CrossFit?
No,
athlete,
but no. Okay, no. This is more of a complaint.
Oh.
Like what? I'm sorry. I probably should have read the question differently. It's more of a complaint than anything that they feel like they're getting too muscular and bulky when they use what they perceive as heavy weight.
Gotcha.
But they want to know what to do so that doesn't happen. We all know, really.
That's a big
boo-hoo
problem.
We really, No.
A lot of people.
Okay, here's. I'm gonna be brutally honest with you guys right now. The weights are not making you bulky. It is whatever you're eating is making you bulky. Your diet is making you bulky.
Yeah, the calories.
You're eating.
If you're in a calorie deficit, you're not going to grow.
No, there's not. No. There's just no way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not how. I wish it was that easy. Anyways, we're spending too much time on this question. It doesn't matter how heavy you lift. You're not going to get excessively bulky. Fix your diet. You'll be fine. Okay, so next question is, does sweating equal more fat loss?
No.
It is that simple. But so here's the reason, guys. There's a quantifiable way of explaining this. Sweating is the body's response to needing to cool down. That's all it is, right? So the need to cool down has nothing to do with how many calories you're actually burning. It just means that you're either, and ideally, if you are sweating easily, you're more proficient at regulating temperature, which would mean that your heart rate would probably be not, through the roof the entire time. So you're
more efficient.
Yeah, more efficiency leads to burning less calories.
Yeah, you got to work harder.
But wearing a sweatsuit and wearing, Remember what that shit was? People always put on their stomach.
Oh, they still do the sweet sweat. Yeah,
that's a thing still. We're gonna have to have an episode. Just
a lot of people use it here.
No.
Yeah. At least a handful. Yeah.
Well, you guys, I am very disappointed with a lot of you people.
Yeah.
Oh God. Anyway, so that's not how fat loss works. Fat loss works by way of you burning more calories than you consume consistently over time and overall through respiration. And respiration is your body's basically your ability to break down all the molecules that you're breaking it down basically, and you're getting, when you actually burn fat, technically the way your body gets rid of it, some of it may actually come through as sweat to a degree.
Yeah.
Because once you break down carbohydrates, fatty acids, and all of these things, and aminos and stuff, the body from a respiration standpoint has to metabolize these things and get rid of these extra carbon molecules, right? But the majority of it is actually done through your breath, breathing. Pretty simple.
Yeah, makes sense.
But it still does not have anything to do with sweating directly.
Yeah.
It has everything to do with the balance of energy, how much energy is going out, how much energy is coming in. If there is a negative, if you're in a deficit overall at a negative,
and
you're
the
burning
energy
more.
would be the consuming of
Your food.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so yes, sweating does not equate to more fat loss. I'm sorry, people. That is definitely not it. Someone said, when I eat dairy and pizza and ice cream, I notice I gain weight.
Well,
how do I stop this?
It's not necessarily those foods in general.
Yeah, it's well,
it's just the overconsumption of calories.
well, generally when we eat foods that taste great, like
eat too much of it.
and that at the end of the day is what usually is the reason. You're eating more calories because it tastes amazing.
Yeah.
So when things taste good, we eat more of them. We eat a surplus and we store it, and lo and behold, more weight.
It's a hard. Try eating sweet potatoes and rice and chicken and beef and meet your calories. Pretty hard.
Well, okay. So here's what I tell a lot of my clients. One of the most important things to do is make your food taste good, but not too good. Because if your food tastes too good, you're just going to want to eat more and more and more.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is why we know about how, the funny thing is we've known about how appetite works. I mean, this is why there's appetizers, or there's actual alcoholic beverages called aperitifs that they use to stimulate the appetite. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we don't do fancy stuff like that. So, overall, we're not going to worry about that.
So the other day, someone came in and they said they cooked the rice.
Okay.
But in order to keep it moist, they put butter on the pan and then they cook the rice in that. How much butter are they actually getting? They said they just make it enough to make it non-stick.
They're cooking rice on the pan?
Well, they already cook it.
Yeah, and then they're heating it up?
And then they cook it
Yeah.
on the pan again.
They're going to eat most of it. Most of the calories are going to be eaten.
Yeah, like how much butter do you think? They said they just put it where it's non-stick.
I don't know.
So how does one of your clients account for that?
Yeah, I make everyone measure everything, like especially in the beginning, measuring all they're supposed to.
Yeah.
They don't all the time, but in the beginning it's very crucial to measure if you're using fats, because the fats add up. Even cooking fats, they generally add up. Unless I know, I give them a very specific way of doing it, and we're removing calories from other areas to compensate for them. Otherwise, you have to take into account all the calories that are coming in.
Well, you'll have to reach out to that person. I don't know if they're telling you the same thing they're telling me.
Well, I'll just look at their scan.
Like, it's not working.
Yeah. But this is the perfect example of, when people are still trying to do and to make good decisions, it still doesn't always equate to the best decision, because there's a disconnect of what they think is right and wrong. And so we make it, it's easy to just kind of be like, okay, well, I don't think this is that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But it's no different than like saying, hey, I don't think that Starbucks I'm buying every day is going to be that impactful on my finances. But if you spent $5 a day, 30 days out of the week. You do the math. It's a lot of money every month.
I don't know how much is it. Let's see. Not good at math. 5 times 30.
Five times 30 is it's
150.
It's 150.
I would say they probably spend more, close to like 8 to 10, getting some food.
Oh yeah,
They get a little car.
yeah,
that.
$300 a month. Yeah, but that's just coffee.
Jesus.
Yeah, I get cold brew all the time, and I know how much I'm spending. So this last week, I didn't allow myself to buy it because I didn't want to spend $25 for coffee.
Yeah. For the week.
Yeah. I don't feel proud of that. But nonetheless, it's just it's a once in a while type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at some of these other questions we got here. Let's see here. Someone says, does eating sweet potatoes help you build more muscle than eating rice? So this question needs refining, is what I would say.
Yeah.
Because muscle is not contingent. Muscle growth is not contingent necessarily on the carbohydrates that you're consuming. So, that's one of the primary issues that we run into. A carbohydrate is just, it could be beneficial in the grand scheme of things overall with how many calories you're getting to allow you to grow if you're not eating enough. So it doesn't matter whether you're eating sweet potatoes or whether you're eating rice.
Yeah.
Most importantly, I would say, from what the majority of the research says, is muscle growth is heavily contingent on your training style.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
That's why CrossFit got me jacked.
Show the guns.
It's CrossFit.
CrossFit triceps right there. Yeah.
Handstand push-ups.
Yeah. Handstand push-ups and muscle ups.
Cleans for the biceps.
Yeah. But anyways, I mean, those are some fundamental things that don't necessarily always add up.
So how does substituting, I don't know, would you consider saying rice and sweet potatoes are healthy carbs?
They're less calorically dense overall relative to other things that we call carbs.
Compared to someone else eating chocolate?
Yes. Well, okay, some of the primary issues that we run into when we're trading out carbohydrates, let's say that, right? Because sometimes it's okay, sometimes you got to rob Peter to pay Paul. And this is where if you're playing the calorie game, it can help. But in the long run, the difference between a sweet potato and chocolate is pretty significant in terms of what you're getting from a nutrient value wise.
Yeah.
So the other thing is when there's less fiber in something, you're likely to absorb more of those calories, right? Mm-hmm. So the more fiber is in something, the less of the total calories of that food that you're going to absorb. Mm-hmm. So if you're getting 150 calories of chocolate and 150 calories of sweet potato, they still yield the exact same amount of calories.
Yeah.
But the amount of calories that you completely absorb are going to be different. So
I think it would create bad habits as well.
Well, especially when you're dealing with, just having terrible eating habits to begin with.
Yeah.
Eating like a child is probably not the best thing to do.
Yeah. Trying to find a loophole.
Yeah, and I'd say I see that work for some people in the temporary sense, but it usually always backfires because they have not rooted the fundamental values of how they're going to approach their health in totality.
You're trying to find a temporary fix.
Well, there's usually what we see this in is with my clients that tend to have these issues with regulation of dopamine. And the only reason I'm saying that is because of the conversations I've had with people, and the primary issues is that we're chasing feeling good, rather than doing things that will make
improve us.
Well, not only that, but we have to do things to make us feel better, right?
Okay.
Rather than chasing something that might make us feel good.
Yeah.
They're two completely different things, I would argue. And so when those things are being done in that manner, we tend to we rather than addressing the actual issue at hand, we're just masking other issues.
Yeah.
So, it just takes time. I'd say time and growth and being open to coaching and being open to understanding that your way is not always the best way.
Yeah. That's true. That's
Yeah.
very true.
What you got there?
To present this to you.
Oh,
Forgot this was actually on my lap.
we have Ryan's so jacked that.
Weighted sword.
Yeah. Here, let me show you guys. This is
our-
weighted katana.
Our buddy Dennis
He made them.
provided us with these.
This is so we could
Props.
have props when we podcast. I told him these are too big for the office, but it is what it is.
Oh, I did forget they were on my lap.
Yeah. All right. So one last question, because let me see. Where are we at? Yeah, we're gonna make this one a quick one. One last one. It's actually on. I actually have two technically. Let's see. One's on intermittent fasting, and one is on Gatorade. Which one do you think we should do first?
Gatorade.
Gatorade. Okay, so Gatorade. The question is they say, should I drink Gatorade or liquid IV?
I mean, are they gonna go for sugar-free?
Well, okay, so here that's the thing. I know the person asking this, and
Or
what
are they just trying to find a different way for electrolytes?
I guess, yeah, to an extent. But so here's what I asked. I asked them a little more. I needed more detail.
Yeah.
And I said, for what purpose? And they said, aren't we supposed to get electrolytes? And my answer is, it depends.
Yeah. Depends on what you're doing.
Well, in reality, okay, Gatorade yields roughly, what is it, like 200 calories per bottle? Maybe a little less?
Yeah. What was that? 30 times. Let's see.
It's almost, let's just call it 180.
Yeah.
It's 180 calories or 30 to 40 grams of carbohydrates. So one of the problems with that is like, was I right? 180 something?
Yeah, it's around 180.
Yeah. So 35 grams of carbohydrates. One of the issues is that most people are not doing workouts that are intense or long enough to justify having.
Yeah. They're generally consuming too much food already.
Yeah.
And then
You don't need
now you're drinking extra calories.
you don't need extra calories, right? So, but I will say for a lot of people, if you have a high sweat rate, that tends to be extra salty. Like me, like I lose a ton of salt, so I use salt replacement stuff all the time. I'll use
Yeah.
upwards of 900 to 1,000 milligrams of salt during a workout or after.
Yeah.
Which is a lot, upwards of a gram, guys. It's a ton of salt, but I lose salt so fast that if you look at my hat after I sweat in it, it's going to have a freaking ridiculous salt ring I can salt my food with.
Little white line.
Yeah, so if you get that on your hat, most likely you have a high salt rate loss. There are better ways of figuring
Means you're a
it out.
salty person.
I am salty sometimes. I be getting mad. Nah. But anyway, so in that case, the sugar-free stuff is better because even liquid IV still has calories in it and doesn't necessarily need. Most people don't need it. Let's put it that way. Most people don't work out hard enough, and most people are not, actually working out long enough to justify having those things. But if you're even as an endurance athlete, 100 calories per hour is on average what most people would need. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not that much. But a little salt goes a long ways.
Yeah.
Even if you just add salt to your pre-workout, it could help. Little
dash.
pinch, pow. So, what was the other one? Oh, yeah.
Intermittent fasting.
Intermittent fasting. Someone is asking about, should I do intermittent fasting to help me lose weight?
You could use it to help you find structure.
Well, let's define what intermittent fasting really is. It's pretty simple.
Restriction.
Generally, what it means is you're skipping breakfast, guys. There's no difference between skipping breakfast and intermittent fasting, or skipping dinner and intermittent fasting.
Or in some cases, they skip both. They go really small.
Yeah, small eating window.
Well, doesn't mean they're eating small. They're in a small eating window, but
yeah. So let's define. So intermittent fasting is allocating a specific time to eat throughout the day. So it's giving yourself a certain amount of hours, whether it's 6, 8, 10.
So you're kind of just strategically
allowing
calorie
yourself to
reduction by just skipping the meal.
generally, yeah.
Technically.
Generally, yeah. I've seen people intermittent fast and nothing changes because they eat literally the same amount of
Oh
food
yeah,
that they
I've
were
seen
before.
people do it and they eat more.
Yeah, because they're like, I could
They're
do whatever
just
I want.
Worried, yeah, just trying to get
Yeah,
everything in one shot.
yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. If you're eating a ton of crap food, generally you're going to stuff in just as many calories, and you're going to create a more of an issue on your digestive system to a degree, anyways. And there's very, a lot of people talk about intermittent fasting potentially helping with health parameters and things like that. But the funny thing is, all these potential health parameters that could improve from intermittent fasting or just fasting in general are the same things that can be elicited simply by working out.
Yeah.
So if you're training and you're training hard already, the last thing you need to do is fast. You're just going to fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
You're just going to be not feeling that great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reality. There's really no purpose unless you're just trying to give yourself a time frame, to give yourself eating windows to make sure that you feel better. Generally, sometimes we don't eat in the beginning of the day, but that's for convenience.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with trying to lose weight or anything.
Yeah, like today I didn't eat till 1:30. I mean, it was either eat my food when I get here and be too full to work out and work out later, or just don't eat and work out and eat after.
Yeah.
So it's just a convenience factor.
Yeah, and if I eat before I work out, I have to do it at least an hour to hour and a half prior.
Yeah.
And then be okay, ready to go. Otherwise, if it's too close, I just can't do it.
Yep.
So sometimes not eating is a valid thing. But let's just say intermittent fasting does not make you burn more calories, will not make you lose weight faster. And the only reason it does help with weight loss is because you're just spontaneously reducing total calories because you're skipping a meal.
Yep.
And I guarantee you add that meal back in with all the rest of the food, that weight comes back on real fast.
Well, that sums it up.
That sums it up, guys. So if there's more questions, make sure you are following us on IG, Lazaro Nutrition, and on Facebook, Lazaro Nutrition. It's not that hard, guys. Make sure you follow us on there. Make sure you are subscribed. Send us to your friends. If you have more questions, make sure you submit them. Message us, email, come in, and try some Pop-Tarts, guys. They're pretty bomb.
They're amazing.
Thank you for listening, and
We'll catch you on the next one.